Hi everyone! Our topic on this meeting is about ethical standards in writing the review of related literature. It discusses how we're going to write or the technicalities of review-related literature and the ethical standards or the proper way in writing your RRL. And these lessons, we have objectives. At the end of this lesson, the students can identify research ethics, why proper citation matters, describe plagiarism in its various forms, and illustrate citation styles such as EPA, MLA, and Chicago. Okay, basically, the concept that we're going to deal in this lesson are the proper way in writing our research, which is the citation. We are going to properly write the sources and references in our research paper, and what is the forms of writing practices that we should avoid, which we're talking about plagiarism and the citation styles such as APA, MLA, and Chicago. In our case, we usually use APA. Research ethics, why proper citation matters. All researchers must always observe proper research conduct and ethics, especially when citing and crediting the source of literature used in their study. So it's one of the fundamental rules that we need to follow when it comes to conducting a research. There should be policies, rules, and guidelines that we need to follow, which can default in ethics. The primary function of citation and references is to help readers in locating a publication. Citation allows readers to distinguish your original work from the work and ideas of others. So, these are the two primary purposes why citation and references are important. First is if you are a reader, it is easier for you to locate the secondary references or the sources of the research article that the researcher used in the research. And we can see that in references, we need to consider the work of other authors of the topic you want to conduct or you to investigate, and you need their statement, their studies, their works that they publish about the topic you want to conduct. It's very important that you need to cite them or credit them because that's their intellectual property. Researchers must properly acknowledge the ideas and work of cited authors through proper citation. So, with a proper citation, we can properly recognize, acknowledge, or credit the other authors that we use to investigate. Citation and references may be seen in the main text, the footnotes, and notes, and in the bibliography or references section of most research. Most of the published research articles, they use references if it's bibliography. Plagiarism and its various forms. This is the main or one of the promoted crime in writing research. Plagiarism. It is an act that is separate from the intent of the person who commits it, which means that even if it's not your intention to commit plagiarism, but still it is plagiarism because it is the work of other. It is the one of the most common forms of intellectually dishonesty in research. It's called intellectually dishonesty because you copy intellectual property or of others, which means it's not yours. To avoid plagiarism, we need to credit the authors that we use to investigate in our research. In the age of information, students and researchers alike routinely copy and paste materials from online sources and use them with proper attribution or citation. Although technology contributed a lot of advancement because it is easier for us to conduct research through technology, but the disadvantages of these benefits were likely abused by doing plagiarism. The various scholars have offered different explanations of plagiarism as we can see below. Here is the various scholars that they offered. Number 1. The act of knowingly using another person's work and passing it off as your own. By Hart, 1998, page 181. Which means that another form of plagiarism, you use the other works of the authors and you treat them as if it is your own, even though it is not yours. Number 2, appropriation of another person's ideas, process, results, or words without giving the appropriate credit. By Ezra L. and Hay, 2006, 113. Even though you were not directly claim the works of the other authors as if it is yours, but the thing is, you did not properly credit their works, it is also called plagiarism. Third, presenting someone else's words or thoughts as though they were your own, constituting intellectual thief. By Bobby, 2010, 524. Fourth, thief or another person's ideas by using his or her exact words and ideas without properly documenting the original source. By Newman, 2011, 545. Fifth, plagiarism is prosecuting someone else's work or ideas as your own, with or without their consent, by incorporating it into your work without full acknowledgement. By University of Oxford, 2016. 6. It is considered plagiarism to draw any idea or any language from someone else without adequately crediting that source in your paper. By Harvard University, 2016. Different forms of plagiarism was the cut and paste plagiarism, misattribution plagiarism, and mosaic plagiarism, and self-plagiarism. Let's discuss first the cut and copy plagiarism. Taking phrases, sentences, or paragraph from a source, it could be book, article, website, or etc. Submitting another's work as your own without citing the source, not using quotation, and citing the source. So, basically, when we say cut and paste plagiarism, you copy the work of other authors word by word. Like, if you open some article, then you did not summarize, you just copy it without citing the owner of its article. So, avoid this. Properly signal that the excerpt was directly taken from another source. So, this is the example of cut and copy paste plagiarism. So, in the first column, it is the plagiarized version. This version is copy and paste plagiarism. This was copied word by word, text from the original source material. No credit was given to the author of the text, and the quotation marks were not used. Also, the student did not provide the full in-text citation and references. And the second column, it is the source. So, it has quotation marks are used to indicate that the passage in a word-for-word quotation from the original document, the full bibliographic reference tells the reader where the source of the quotation can be found. Mosaic plagiarism or patchwork plagiarism is similar to paraphrasing. It is when you copy and paste together pieces of different texts to create a new text. This includes rewording pieces of source material while keeping the structure of the original text. It means that in mosaic plagiarism, you were paraphrasing the text or paragraph even though there is nothing wrong in paraphrasing, but the thing is you did not credit the authors or give references. Like, you use 5 different texts, then The article with different authors, you just summarize it without crediting, like you make it as your own. As we can see in the example, in the column 1, it is the example of mosaic plagiarism. And the second column, it is the source. So, she just summarized it without crediting. The right thing to do is to give some references or credit so we can avoid this case. Misattribution plagiarism. It involves attributing an excerpt or an idea to the wrong author or the incorrect source, or worse, a non-existent source. The misattribution may be accidental or intentional. You use some statement in your article but you cited the wrong author, or you credit the correct author but the statement is wrong. Even though it's not your intention, but still you're guilty and misattribution plagiarism. What is self-plagiarism? It is commonly described as recycling or reusing one's own specific words from previously published text. While it doesn't cross the line of truth of other ideas, it is nonetheless can create issues in the scholarly publishing world. Beyond verbatim section of text, self-plagiarism can also refer to the publication of identical papers in two places, sometimes called duplicate publication. Moreover, it is best practice to cite your previous work thoroughly, even if you are simply revisiting an old idea or a previously published observation. It looks like you publish a research and then you publish again. Then you use your previous research without credited your previous work and make it as a new idea. What is citation and citation style? A citation is a way of giving credit to individuals for the creative and intellectual works that you utilize to support your research and be used to locate particular sources and combat plagiarism. Typically, a citation can include the author's name, date, location of the publishing company, journal, title, or DOI, digital object identifier. As it means that a citation is a way to avoid plagiarism, like crediting the authors that you use in your research. A citation style dictates the information necessary for a citation and how the information ordered, as well as punctuation and other formation. A citation style, it refers the technicality in writing. The three citation style. APA, American Psychology Association, is used by education, psychology, and scientists. MLA, Modern Language Association, style is used by the humanities. Chicago or Arabian style is generally used by business, history, and the fine arts. In our strand, we use the Chicago or Arabian style because the topics that we conclude in our research is about business. First, what is APA style? APA style is originated in 1929 when a group of psychologists, anthropologists, and business managers convened and sought to establish a sample set of procedure or style rules that would codify the many components of scientific writing to increase the ease of reading comprehension. One of the main purposes why the expert created this style is for convenience. It is easier for them to locate the references, and it has proper structure in using this style. And take citation with APA. The APA style calls for three kinds of information to be included and take citation. The author last name and the work dates of publication must always appear, and this item must match exactly the corresponding entry in the references list. The third kind of information, the page number, appears only in a citation to a direct quotation. Direct quote from the text. The potentially contradictory nature of Moscow's priorities surface first. It is towards East Germany and Yugoslavia. It means that you use direct quotation mark that signify that you directly quoted or use the work of other authors. What is MLA style? MLA style, or Modern Language Association style for documentation, is widely used in humanities, especially in writing on language and literature. MLA style features brief parenthetical citations and the text gave to an alphabetical list of works cited that appears at the end of the work. Lastly, the Chicago style. What is Chicago style? Chicago is a documentation style that has been published by the Chicago University since 1906. The citation style incorporates rules of grammar and punctuation of American English. Typically, Chicago style presents the two basic documentation systems. First, notes and bibliography, and second, author date. Choosing between the two often depends on subject matters and the nature of sources cited, as each system is favored by different groups of scholars. And that's all. Thank you.